Still sticking on the home front, but going into another sport. Let's talk some cricket right here on Plus Sports. And of course, when you hear cricket, then you know that Mr. Cricket is somewhere locking around to talk the sport he enjoys talking every day of the week. Seun Ajidagba is the one I call Mr. Cricket. Back on the show, joins us this evening. He's just returned from Edo. Maybe Seun should come in and talk us through all of the action that has just gone down in that competition. Seun, good evening. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much, Wale, for allowing me. It was all about the Edo Cricket League Super 4 finals that happened at the Edo Boys High School, Ugbowo, Benin City, formerly the Adolo College. And it was a battle of 8 teams that were jostling for 2 positions, champions for male and champions for female. But at the end of the day, it was Smashers Cricket Club for the female from Akwa Ibom, who defeated Delta Force Cricket Club of Delta State by 53 runs to capture the final competition. While for the male, the defending champion, which was the under-17 cricket team, were dethroned by No Limit Cricket Club. No Limit Cricket Club have been knocking on that door to get to that apogee of their status as one of the best clubs in Edo. But finally, they got the icing on the cake by winning the final against the under-17. But Wale, it will interest you to know that for the female, there was a league format before we got into the Super 4. So how did we get to this Super 4? We had Zone A and Zone B. For the Zone A, we had teams like Pathfinders Cricket Club, who was in Zone A, Smashers Cricket Club, who was also in Zone A. Then we had Adolo Amazons and, of course, Delta Force. While for Zone B, we had teams, Pathfinders Cricket Club, we had Delta Force, also from River State, while the other teams in Zone A were Adolo Amazons. For Zone B, we had Rangers Cricket Club, Dazagon Cricket Club, Smashers Cricket Club. So at the end of the day, we had 2 teams qualify for the semi-final, and the semi-finalists were Adolo Amazons, of course, who were champions of Zone A, and Oseyade among Kobio won the most valuable player for that Zone A for the league format. While for Zone B, the league format, we had the Pathfinders Cricket Club of Cross River State, of River State, Parakot. But for that Zone B, we had Blessing Etim, who won the most valuable player for Zone B. So when it came down to...
So, good evening. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very loud and clear.
All right, fantastic. You were talking about how we got to the semi-finals, the teams that made it from the semi-finals from Group B, and that was where we lost you before we, of course, did try to reconnect with you.
All right, it was a very interesting tournament, like I told you, at Edo Boys High School in Benin City, Ugbowo to be precise, where we had the Super 4 weekend. And I told you how the teams got to the semi-finals, so they now played in the final. They first had a league format for the female, and we had 8 teams divided into Zone A and Zone B. But Zone A, we had Adolo Amazon, Delta Force, Ekoma Supernova, who were the defending champions but could not make the semi-final, and Ibia Royals. And Group B, we had Pathfinders Cricket Club of Port Harcourt, Smashers Cricket Club of Akwa Ibom, Rangers Cricket Club, and Dazagon. At the end of the day, Adolo Amazons won the regular season in Zone A, and in Zone B, Pathfinders Cricket Club won the regular season. And so the 4 teams that progressed to the semi-final were Adolo Amazons, Delta Force, Pathfinders Cricket Club, and Smashers Cricket Club. And the format of the competition was that the top of Group A will face second in Group B, which was Adolo Amazons against Smashers Cricket Club. And Smashers Cricket Club defeated Adolo Amazons to book a place in the final. While against all the odds, Delta Force Cricket Club of Delta, who finished second in Group A, defeated Pathfinders Cricket Club to book a place in the final. At the end of the tournament, Smashers Cricket Club defeated Delta Force Cricket Club by 53 runs to win the tournament, and they also carted home all the awards that were available. For them, most valuable player went to Blessing, who is the captain of the national team of Nigeria, to play for Smashers Cricket Club. The batter of the tournament went to Salome Sunday, a national team player also, who plays for Smashers Cricket Club. The bowler of the tournament went to Insitong Impreke of Smashers Cricket Club, whilst the fielder of the tournament went to Omoye Awone of Adolo Amazons. For the regular season, the most valuable player for Zone A went to a player of Adolo Amazons. Her name is Oseyande Omonkobio. And for Zone B, the most valuable player went to Blessing Epping, the captain of the national team. For the male, he had to come down to under-17 cricket club, who lost the final against No Limit Cricket Club. The under-17 cricket club have won the competition twice, so they were gunning for the fourth title, but they were stopped by No Limit, who have been knocking on the door of victory. 2 years ago, they didn't make the semi-final of the Super 4. Last year, they lost the semi-final, but this year, they came back stronger to come and win the tournament. So, for the league, we also had the battle of the tournament going to Egosa Ajedo Destiny, who is a player of Unibank Cricket Club. We also had the bowler of the tournament for the regular season go to Agbi Destiny of Dolphins Cricket Club. While for the most valuable player for the league season, that went to Samuel Victor of Under-17 Cricket Club. But at the end of the Super 4 playoff, the most valuable player went to Prosper Uteli, who is a player of the Under-19 team and a player of the national team. The batter of the tournament went to Victor Ikoli of No Limit Cricket Club. The bowler of the tournament went to Unity Ogboe. That's one name you need to watch out for. He played for the Under-17. While for the fielder of the tournament, that went to Solomon Chilemaya of the Under-17 Cricket Club. Wale, I must tell you that the president of the Cricket Federation, who also doubles as the chairman of Edo State Cricket Association, Mr. Uyi Akpata, was pleased with the outcome of the tournament, saying that the level of performance that was displayed by all the teams is a clear indication of how tough and how competitive the Edo Super League was. There was no defending champion coming back to defend our title, both for male and female. For the female, the defending champion was Epoma Supernova. They could not even qualify for the semi-final. And for the male, the Under-17 Cricket Club were dethroned by No Limit Cricket Club. While we also had in attendance the high performance manager and the coach of the national team of Nigeria for male, Steve Ogonji Tikolo, who has been in Benin City working with the players because Nigeria has a tournament coming up in June, the African Cricket Association tournament. We also had Coach Ute Clive Odini in attendance because he's also an assistant to the national team manager. And we also had the coach of the senior national team, Leke Oyede, who is preparing the girls for a tournament coming up in Kwibuka. That's in June. They call it the annual Kwibuka tournament. Is used to commemorate the people who lost their lives. Over 260,000 people who lost their lives in the Hutu and the Tutsi crisis that happened on the 7th of April 1994. All in all, Wale, it was a successful tournament that the president had to be proud of. The wife was also in attendance because this is a competition that is sanctioned by the Nigerian Cricket Federation, but sponsored by Ted Foundation and supported by Edo State Sports Commission. Everybody and anybody that is big in Edo was at the Edo Edo Boys High School. I beg your pardon.
Seun, if you can hear me, I like the way you usually paint the picture of this cricket tournament and break it down, give us all the names, and of course, many of the names that you've mentioned in time past have gone on to represent the country and done us proud. But an angle that people like to touch on when it comes to sports that are not as followed as especially in this part of the world, like football, maybe even on a lesser scale, basketball, maybe tennis, is how lucrative is this sport, this competition, for instance? How lucrative is it for the players, for these cricket clubs? Because of course they do have to, get day-to-day things done, accommodation, feeding. How lucrative is it? Young people who are listening to you right now, why should they want to, find themselves playing for these cricket clubs in 5, 6, 7, 8 years time?
All right. So let me just tell you that most of these clubs have contracts with the players, and they range from the level of that player to the other. Of course, even in football, the way you play or the way you pay a Karim Benzema is not the same way you pay a Rodrigo. But all of them have contracts with these clubs, and they pay them at the end of the month. Now, let me also tell you that at the third edition of the Nigerian Cricket Federation Women's T20 Invitational Tournament that Nigeria hosted from March 27 to April 2nd, history was made under the leadership of Mr. Uyi Apata, who is the president of the Nigerian Cricket Federation. He decided to say, let's go the way of other countries where they sign professional contracts with these players. Before, it was a case of when there's tournament, the players get allowances, they get bonuses, they get a lot of things. But he said, no, for them to be more, let's have a contract. Even when they are not playing tournaments, they have something to look back on. They have something to fall back on. So they don't have to wait for only tournaments. And so on March 31st, 2023, history was made at the Tafawa Balewa Cricket Oval when the president signed a contract with the male team and the female team. But they were represented by their captains.
National teams,
the
right?
male captain is Sylvester Okwe, and the female captain is Letineti.
So that the teams you are talking about are the national teams, right?
Both for the national team, and I'm saying that at club level also.
Okay.
These players have contracts with the club.
No, I'm saying the history that was made, just over a month ago with Mr. Akpata was with the Cricket Federation signing contracts with the national teams, right?
Yes.
All right.
But I'm saying that the club that these players play for, they have contracts with those clubs. And so at the end of the month, they pay them salaries based on the status of the players. So it's not only about national teams, but at club level, all those players have contracts that they sign with the club, and they get a particular amount that range from one player to the other. So it's just that the national team have gone a notch higher by saying, let's have a professional contract, more like a rolling contract, so that you improve your performance, you get an improved contract.
All right, so quickly, let's move on from Edo. What next for cricket? I know that the competitions are increasing. There are more and more tournaments for these cricket players by the year. I remember, some 4, 5, 6 years ago, when even though you were praising, you used to talk about the future of cricket in Nigeria, you were not really happy that there weren't enough competitions. But these days, you report more competitions every month. What next? What next for cricket in Nigeria in the coming months?
Okay, what next is, even for club cricket, as we are finished with Edo, all action leads to Lagos this weekend. May 7, 2023, by the special grace of God, the club cricket committee league will come to a halt, and that's the best league in West Africa. We will come to the end of the league season, and so we have 2 matches due for Sunday. We have first one in the morning, Lagos Asians Cricket Club will be taking on Rising Stars Cricket Club, and in the afternoon, it will be turn of Rising Stars Cricket Club versus in the afternoon, it's Foundation Cricket Club versus Island Titans Cricket Club. After we are done with that, attention will be focused on the female national team that are preparing for their annual Kubuka tournament in Rwanda. That same June, the national male team, the male yellow green, are preparing for the African Cricket Association tournament that is coming up in Abuja from the 24th to the 29th. When they are done with that, in July, our under-19 team are preparing for their Division 1 qualifiers for a place in Sri Lanka in 2024. And we have 6 countries that will be in attendance. Tanzania will be hosting in July. We have Tanzania, the host, Uganda, Namibia, Kenya, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. But by May, the under-19 team, led by Daniel Jim and Theophilus Ibodeme, will be leading the under-19 players to India to practice and get more training. They will come back to Nigeria, go to Rwanda, and from Rwanda, they will connect Tanzania. Venue of the tournament in July. So it's a busy year, and by September, October, our national team, female, will also be going for a World Cup qualifier. So it's a busy year.
All right, yeah, it does sound really, really busy, and I'm sure that you will be following all that action as they happen. Quickly, before I let you go, Seun, I need to pick your mind on some football. I know that cricket is your first love, so we've talked cricket. But there's a big game today in the Premier League. It's Arsenal against Chelsea. Lampard is in awe of how Arsenal have built up what they have today. They've stuck with Arteta for a couple of years through thick and thin, and now they are in contention for a first Premier League title in 19 years. For Chelsea, they have to get a win. 5 wins in a row is nothing to write home about. How do you see this game panning out today at the Emirates?
It's a derby, and when derby comes, form are thrown out of the window. While we understand that Chelsea are in a bad place, I'm sure Frank Lampard will try to avoid something that has happened about 30 years ago. Precisely October to November, the longest losing streak, which stretched to 6 games. They are on 5 now in our competition. Lampard wants to avoid that. And I must say, for Arsenal, they will be hoping to do what they did in 2003-2004 against Chelsea, where they won them in 3 consecutive league games. They want to repeat that. But for Chelsea, they will be praying for what happened last year, where they went to Emirates and beat Arsenal. But who will be the goal scorer for Chelsea is the big question. If they celebrated just 1 goal in the month of April, then it means there is problem in that Chelsea team. How Frank Lampard will galvanize the boys to get a result remains to be seen. Koulibaly has an hamstring. Marc Cucurella, Rhys James, Mason Mount, Armando Broya, all sidelined. And they will be checking up on the hamstring injury of Kai Havertz. So that means that Emerick Aubameyang, former Chelsea Arsenal player, can still lead the line against them. It's going to be difficult. And for Arsenal, they know that a win will put them temporarily at the top, knowing that Man City have got 2 games in hand. So they will want to win, knowing that in their last 4 games, they are winless. So it depends on who wants it the most. But I'm sure that Chelsea will want to fight for everything that they have, knowing that Bournemouth at some point in time, they were miles ahead of them. But the team and Bournemouth
just 10 points ahead
are
of
almost on
Bournemouth
the same level. Things are not turning good for Chelsea. And for Arsenal, they need to arrest that slump.
So I can't let you go without asking you who you think is going to win the league. We don't have much time, but City,
Yes.
Arsenal, who do you think will win the league?
Can I give a bold prediction? Chelsea will not lose at Emirates.
If Chelsea don't lose at Emirates, that means you are tipping City to win the league.
Chelsea will not lose at the Emirates. One thing is for sure.
That means you are tipping City to win the league.
Or the game ends in a draw.
All right, Seun playing the diplomatic one. Maybe you should be in Sudan solving wars. All right, play the diplomatic one on me there. Thank you very much, Seun Ajidagba, for joining us on the show this evening.
The bigger thanks is mine. Always a pleasure to join you while you're there. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. God bless you too. Thank you, Seun, of course, joining us. Just back from Edo. Of course, he did break down all of the action that he went to cover and see. Seun loves cricket a lot. And of course, listening to him, watch him speak cricket, you could see that, the Mr. Cricket that I've given to him, he has to stick. Mr. Cricket is Seun Ajidagba. Thank you once again. A regular on Plus Sports.